Atomy, because the whole idea is to talk about Atomy.
Thank you.
Services, products, and to share opinions, experiences, and that sort of thing with each other. But she always adds a line saying something like, "But please try to sound more excited than you usually are, will you?" She says, "You know, your voice is always the same, never changes. People get boring, they make you sleepy." So I will try, and I keep reminding her that accountants, you know, are pretty boring people. So we're always talking at the same monotone voice, but I will go ahead and try. But I got to tell you the truth, don't expect too much. I will just do what I can do. Now today, I figured what I'll do then, since we're starting on a Saturday, and first of all, I'm so glad to see all of you. Thank you for showing up and being here. You're at the right place at the right time. You're making the right decisions by getting more and more involved in Atomy. And I'd like to just start by saying, I figured with my limited experience working as an Atomy business owner, I'd like to compare that to my more extensive government management experience, you know, to provide you an opinion on how and why we should all be working for Atomy. For those of you who don't know my background, I retired after just about 40 years working as an accounting manager for the Department of the Army. Most of those years I was really a supervisor, not a working accountant, and I supervised personnel from many different countries. Many of my employees were self-motivated when they came to work for me. But then again, most of the people were doing it for a paycheck, which is understandable. But, you know, when you're only working for a paycheck, you often don't put your heart and soul into what you're doing. So I had to work with the motivated people that I could find. And, you know, when you work for the federal government, you get an annual performance appraisal, and it's based on, you know, how you perform. And the bonuses that you get every year is also based on how well you do and how well you're evaluated. Now, so what would usually happen is that my employees would come to work and you know, work, it seemed like, more diligently the first year that they worked for me, knowing that they'll get a better bonus if they work a little bit harder. And they usually would. However, come the second year, they seem to, most of them, I shouldn't say all of them because that's not the fact, but a lot of them would kind of drop off on their workload, and they seem to lack a lot more motivation than they had that first year. That's human nature, I'd say, but at the same time, we as supervisors have to try to evaluate and you know, I won't say take advantage, maximize the usage of those people that do have, you know, a little bit more motivation. And those who stayed motivated and didn't give up will usually get more promotions. They get better bonuses than they did in the previous years, and just overall, better quality of working life. But you know, I always used to wonder, and I'd say, why would a person accept a job, you know, any job really, and not want to give 100%? I mean, if you have to be at a job 8 hours a day or whatever the reasonings are, you know, why not give it your maximum effort so that you can get as many benefits as you possibly could, but also, you know, you kind of feel better about yourself if you work 100% versus just, you know, coming in and just meeting the basic quotas. I always wondered about that, and I don't know if there's an answer to that question other than the fact that everybody's an individual. But anyways, what I'd like to do is I'd like to compare my working for the government all those years to working as a business owner here, you know, with Atomy. Now, the government has some great jobs as far as I'm concerned. They usually pay a reasonable rate of pay, and they provide good training. They usually offer a pretty good retirement program and a good pension. And that pension is based on your rate of pay and the number of years that you work for the government. Now that is a set formula that's all factored in by the government, and the only thing you can control on that, i.e. what your pension is going to be, is based on the number of years that you work for the government. The more years, of course, your pension amount is increased. So it's all regulated, and your entire career with the government is based on, you get a mission, you have a job to do. The government says, this is what I want you to do in this amount of time, and you really don't have much of a choice. You can quit, of course, but chances are you're not going to, and you just have to do what you're told to do in the amount of time that you're told to do it in. Now, when I compare that with being a Atomy business owner, when you think about it, when you work for Atomy, you can decide how long it's going to take you to become rich and how long it will take you to become successful. And it all depends on what you're willing to put into the system. In the government, sometimes, if you work hard, you may get ahead if somebody recognizes you, but chances are, again, you're just considered another person in the office. But Atomy, you can decide all of this stuff. Plus, at the same time, you're getting some great products, and as we all know, Atomy is growing in leaps and bounds, product-wise and benefit-wise, compensation added. I think the key, however, to succeeding in Atomy, the number one thing that you have to accomplish in order to be successful is to really have a goal that you can believe in. To me, a goal is everything. It's basically the roadmap to your success in Atomy. If you don't believe in what your goal is, why you're working, if you can't put it in your life scenario and really believe in what you're trying to do, chances are you're gonna just quit. You're just gonna say, this is too hard, or it's too much work. I'm just not going to keep pursuing this. Well, that, of course, in my opinion, would be a big, big mistake, especially having worked for 40 years for some agency that doesn't give you the opportunity to determine what you're going to earn and what you're going to do. So you have to really pick a goal that is realistic and that you can live up to. If you can do that and feel confident that you accomplished that goals. Last week, Tina gave us her life scenario, and it was very, very impressive because she knew exactly what she wanted to get, how hard she had to work to get it, when she was going to accomplish what she wanted to in the life scenario. And that's what I think we all should do. Figure out what you want and go for it, and make sure that you're sincere. Now, there's always going to be some struggles and some setbacks, and you have to, again, create a burning desire in what you want to achieve. I know this sounds kind of like in a poem, a burning desire to achieve your goal, but it really is true. If you don't have the desire to succeed, you're probably gonna, again, quit along the way. But as soon as you can connect with your goal and you start feeling driven, you'll see how your approach will change entirely, which I've seen happen with many of our own people here in the Atomy Center here at the Redrock. We have some people right here on Saturday mornings that have worked really hard to get where they are, and they are succeeding. It may not be as fast as they hoped it would be, but at the same time, it will happen, and it will eventually mean, a better life and a healthier life for all of us. Now, I'm putting a lot of weight on goal setting and accomplishments, but I honestly think, that's a strong and sincere goal. It's the heart and soul of the success in the Atomy business as a business owner. And I keep saying a business owner because that's what we really are. It is a business, and we should look at it as our own business and to take care of it as our own business, to build it up as our own business, not as just a hobby, which is something that I have found that some people do. They come in, they're very enthusiastic about Atomy at the beginning. They'll listen to Mr. Park or some other speaker and say, wow, you know, I want to, of course, make a lot of money, and I want to be healthy, and I want to, you know, just grow with this growing business. But then for some reason along the line, they lose heart, and then they disappear. They don't show up for meetings anymore. They slow down on buying, and that's not the right thing to do. Just because we all know that Atomy has a future. We all know Atomy products are the best you'll find for the money, especially for the money. And if you stay with it, you will succeed. And what I mean by will succeed, you will become healthier and you will become richer.